I would know him if I saw him. Other than that, I was kind of surprised when I saw him.
Okay, thank you. After that, can you just make sure you're at the left so Jonathan needs help finding a parking spot? Thanks, Mike. Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is the North Brunswick Township Board of Education regular public meeting. Today is Wednesday, July 31st. Can we please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Ali.
Here.
Mr. Brockman.
Here.
Mr. Carter.
Here.
Miss James.
Here.
Miss Keith.
Here.
Mr. Liguori.
Here.
Dr. Patel.
Here.
Miss Toth.
Here.
And Mr. Wen.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law, the public notice of this meeting, which included the time, date, and location, was distributed by 3 p.m. on Monday, January 29th, 2024, and Tuesday, March 19th, 2024, in the following manner. Posted on the bulletin board reserved for announcements in the board office, 25 Linwood Place, North Brunswick. Mailed to the Home News Tribune, Star Ledger, NJ.com, and the clerk of the Township of North Brunswick, and delivered to the 9 duly elected board members. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is enjoying their summer. We have one presentation this evening, and I will pass it over to Mrs. Chiroka to introduce that presentation.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. It's good to see you all here. We have our exciting annual violence and vandalism presentation for reporting period number 2 from Mrs. Kita. So I have this all queued up for you, Mrs. Kita. And you tell me as you want me to change the page.
Mrs. Shiroka, as required by the State Department of Education, public schools are required to present their annual data in 2 different reporting periods. Violence and vandalism, which you'll see it's also on our board agenda. As required, reporting period 2 is January 1st through June 30th of every year, and reporting period 1 is July 1st through December 31st of every school year. And again, as you'll see from the chart, Ms. Shiroka, you can go to the chart, that is on the board agenda this evening as required. It actually compares reporting periods to reporting periods. It's not, they don't compare the full year. This is what the state has us required to compare to, but what I like to do is, as everyone knows, I like to give presentations, but to provide context with it, because this is in and of itself, to just have on a board agenda, it does require some context. And I will also provide some information to go back to reporting period 1, so the board has some information from the whole school year. Again, the state doesn't require us to do that, but again, I feel it's important to provide that context. So looking at the two different reporting periods from this year to the prior school year, we did see, yes, an increase in the total number of incidents. An incidence is violence, vandalism, substances, weapons, and HIV confirmed. We did see a rise in that, but as you can also see in the row below, other incidents leading to removal such as tardy, cutting class, insubordination, disruptive behavior actually went down. And in total, because the confirmed HIV for reporting period 2 is embedded in that number, the total was 35 HIV confirmed for reporting period 2 this year, and it was 32 last year. So again, around the same, and again, you will see also on the board agenda trainings and programs, and ones that I will highlight this evening as well, again, as we are continuing to address those concerns. In terms of the trainings and programs, and I'll get to HIV alleged in 1 second, it's not that we saw a decrease from reporting to period 2, we actually in total, outside of like one number, had exactly the same as last school year. It's just this school year we decided to front load more, so we actually had more trainings and programs in reporting period 1. Again, the thought behind that was get ahead of it. This year a little bit more, so we provided those programs and trainings more in the fall during reporting period 1. HIV alleged. This is also unconfirmed or unfounded. It looks like we dropped a lot from last year. Essentially also, just so you know, what also took place is with an updated policy and amendment last year from the state, districts now have the ability to proceed or not proceed with an HIV form. That means that on its surface, the deans, doesn't mean that they don't address it, but on its surface does not meet the characteristics of HIV and is dealt with as consequences, remediation, things of that nature. So that is what is there. 5, actually, 8, here's where it gets a little confusing too. In reporting period 1, it ends in December. Reporting period 2 begins in January. There's winter break there. Depending on when a case opens or closes in December, it may get reported to the board in January, but yet it was reporting period 1 entered because it was December. So there actually are 8 that are tied in from reporting period 1 for that number, which looks like 5 when on our board agendas, when we looked in January, it was 8. So just so you know that. So again, although we're not required to, the year in review, total number of incidents did decrease by 13, so we're proud of that. Total number of HIV confirmed this year was 52, last year was 48. Other incidents leading to removal decreased by 217. So we're really happy with that number. HIV alleged decreased by 30, again with the implementation of proceeding or not proceeding. That helped to decrease that as well. HIV trainings and programs were essentially equal in total.
Need some water, Mrs. Keita?
Yeah, sure. So again, as I mentioned, last school year, we upped the updated policy with the state in terms of being able to proceed or not proceed. We had a total of 25 submitted HIV claims that were preliminary determined as not proceeding for this school year. These claims were found to be outside the scope of HIV, but disciplinary and remediation measures were enacted. I'm not going to read through all of them, but you can take a look to see examples of consequences and examples of remedial measures that we do have implemented. And again, this goes anywhere from temporary removal, taking away privileges, different administrative consequences, student counseling in terms of remedial measures, peer support groups, behavioral assessments, modifications of schedules, things of that nature. So these are all examples of consequences and remedial measures that not only are recommended by the State Department of Ed, but that we've implemented as well. For reporting period 2 with HIV trainings, Again, just to list some, we're not required to on our board agenda by the state, but I do like, again, to provide context. And as usual, this presentation will be available on our website and to our board members as well following the meeting. But again, you can take a look at the various HIV trainings that took place in reporting period 2. A lot of them are offered by the New Jersey Law Center that we take advantage of, Legal One. And a lot of those actually are self-directed, so I do meet with the anti-bullying specialist to review the different workshops we attend, the different trainings, and we have our own resource library that we use to refer to frequently. Although not required to list, I do list every reporting period the other trainings related to student behaviors. Most of these that you see here on this slide are ours. These are ones that our staff, our administrators, do trainings after school for our own staff. So those are various ones that we have participated here in district. Listed in the agenda are all the HIV programs that have taken place throughout reporting period 2. Again, according to the state, they have elementary as pre-K through 6, so that does include Linwood, the ECC, and then our 4 elementary schools, the middle school grades 7, 8, and the high school grades 9 through 12. Again, these links are available on our website under school safety for HIV. We have our own dedicated anti-bullying info site for parents. We have our own school safety and HIV site for staff. A new updated HIV FAQ for parents and staff. Our board policy and other resources there. And that's it.
Any questions, board, for Mrs. Gita? Any comments? All right, this is.
I'm better now. So.
I know when you get a tickle in your throat how hard it can be to present. Thank you very much for this. This is a lot of work, and coming out of your office, we truly appreciate the organization, the support that you provide to our deans and our assistant principals who work on these programs to make sure that we can help our children be as safe as possible. Thank you.
And I just want to comment that obviously it made really good sense for you to adjust the way that you did by front-loading the programs. Obviously, I think that there has been a great misconception about HIB and what it means and parents misunderstanding it. But I think that front-loading it to, of course, reduce those incidences is great, and hopefully just more inform our public and our student body. So wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Kita. At this time, we will move to our regular agenda. Mr. Carter, can you please take item number 6?
Sure. I'd like to make a motion to approve the following board minutes: conference meeting June 5th, 2024, executive minutes June 5th, 2024, regular public meeting June 26th, 2024, and executive minutes June 26th, 2024.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All the minutes are accepted.
Thank you. Any communications this evening?
No, Madam President.
All right, we'll move to our reports. Any old business, new business?
Nope, just my administrative report. Great. All right, good evening to all of our families, guests, and viewers here tonight. Our Summer Academy Institute and Extended School Year programs are underway at MBTMS, Linwood, Judd School, and NBT-ECC. These in-person programs have been running, providing strong academic support for students within fun and challenging programs. Summer Academy and Summer Institute, and tomorrow, Thursday, August 1st, an extended school year wraps up on August 9th. Our deepest sympathies go out to the family of Jonathan Pons, former Parsons principal and North Brunswick Township resident, on his recent passing on July 12th. If we could take a moment of silence in remembrance of Dr. Pons, please. Thank you, and please keep the family in your thoughts. Although summer is in full swing for most families, our 12-month staff are busy working here in the buildings, preparing for the new school year in August. Lockers are being painted, lights in the auditorium are being replaced at the high school, different sidewalks are being redone, floors are being polished. We had a wonderful day where we got to watch a machine pull up the carpet in Linwood. It looked like a little Zamboni, and it came in and it scraped up all the carpet in about an hour. It was run by remote control, and then they came and scooped it all up, and they put beautiful new tile in. So we're doing projects throughout all of our buildings to bring them up get them ready for the new school year, and we really appreciate the work of all of our teams who are doing that hard work this summer. In preparation for the first day of school on Tuesday, September 3rd, our principals are working on orientation programs and student schedules. Orientations for students entering pre-K, K, 5th, 7th, and 9th. Information has been sent and scheduled, and flyers have been sent to families. This information is also available on our website at nb2schools.org. Please continue to check our website for more information as we move through August. Enjoy the rest of the summer. That is it for my report this evening, Madam President.
Thank you. At this time, we'll move to our committee reports. Although we did not have our official meetings this month, we have received updates throughout the month. So, Mr. Ligori, I'll start with you for business operations.
Thank you, Madam President. Among the items being worked on this summer, as Superintendent Chiroka alluded to, and on our agenda this evening, there's a couple of amendments regarding technology purchase motions that actually reflect a reduction in cost to 3 purchases and an increase in 1 purchase. That's on page 20, items C and D. There's the disposal of the Linwood Cafeteria walk-in refrigerator and freezer, which just is the fallout from buying a new one. That's on page 20, item E. There's the approvals of various grant applications and grant-funded purchase agreements. There's the approvals of various instructional and operational computer site licenses as well. There's a roofing change order pertaining to Linwood to repair flashing. It's a net cost of $19,000. It's on page 21, item H. There's an item pertaining to the high school HVAC recommissioning project. It's a change order, actually reduces the cost of the project by $12,000. And then there's budgeted purchases on the agenda this evening, pages 21 and 22, pertaining to additional swipe ID cards, Parsons School Playground, the high school concrete repairs, the district boiler service agreement. There's also information in there about an agreement for a vision plan for our employees on page 23, and then there's 2 policies which are being abolished on page 24 that are no longer applicable. That would conclude business operations for the past month.
Thank you. Mr. Brockman, anything for HR?
Not at this time.
Thank you. Dr. Patel, anything for education?
Yeah, just briefly. Just
Sure.
wanted to say that we had various workshop and conference approvals, and that there was a 5-year agreement for purchase of a benchmark advance, a core comprehensive literacy program for reading, writing, and work study in grades 3 through 4 for all of the elementary schools. There's a couple of state mandate programs that the district is working on, and a couple of miscellaneous contracts for special education evaluation therapies, and that's it.
Great, thank you. At this time, can I please have a motion to approve the administrative and committee reports?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All the reports are accepted.
Thank you. At this time, we will review our agenda. The board has received a copy of the agenda well in advance, so we will just go through this briefly page by page, calling out some of the action items on the committee reports. So we'll start with page 2 and 3, 4 and 5, 6 and 7, 8 and 9, 10 and 11, 12 and 13, 14 and 15, 16 and 17, 18, 19, 20 and 21, 22 and 23, and completing on page 24. So at this time, we can flip back to page 2. We will have a public session on agenda items only. If you would like to come up to the podium and speak to anything specific to the agenda, we ask that you please state your name, sign in, and you'll be given 3 minutes. No problem. All right, seeing none, can I please have a motion to close the public portion of the meeting?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? This session is closed.
Thank you. Ms. Keefe, can you please take item 13, please?
Yes, Madam President. I'd like to make a motion to approve the following consent agenda items: Personnel 1 through 2, Curriculum 1 and 2, Miscellaneous, Finance 1 through 2, Policy and Transportation.
Second.
All right. Your roll call. Mr. Ali?
Yes on all items except for curriculum 2, G, and H, which I abstain.
Thank you. Mr. Brockman?
Yes.
Mr. Carter?
Yes. I'm not listed on that.
You're not listed?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Ms. James?
Yes.
Ms. Keefe?
Yes.
Mr. Legori?
Yes, but I abstain on curriculum, page 14, item 2, G, and H, as it pertains to myself.
Thank you. Dr. Patel?
Yes.
Ms. Toth?
Yes to all besides curriculum, number 2, G, and H, as it pertains to myself.
And Mr. Wen?
Yes to all items except for curriculum item 2G and H, for which I abstain.
Thank you. All the motions and the resolutions are approved.
Thank you. Mr. Brockman?
Sure. I have two motions. The first one, make a motion to approve the resignation of employee number 6839, effective July 31st, 2024.
It's going to be another roll call.
Can I have a second first?
Oh, sorry.
Second.
Yep.
Thank you.
Roll call, Mr. Ali?
Yes.
Mr. Brockman?
Yes.
Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Ms. James?
Yes.
Ms. Keefe?
Yes.
Mr. Legori?
Yes.
Dr. Patel?
Yes.
Ms. Toth?
Yes.
And Mr. Wen?
Yes.
That motion is approved.
Okay, second motion, I make a motion to approve the resignation of employee number 5705 as they retire effective October 31st, 2024.
A second, please?
Second.
Again, a roll call, Mr. Ali?
Yes.
Mr. Brockman?
Yes.
Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Ms. James?
Yes.
Ms. Keefe?
Yes.
Mr. Legori?
Yes.
Dr. Patel?
Yes.
Ms. Toth?
Yes.
And Mr. Wen?
Yes.
That is also approved.
Thank you. At this time, we will open it up to the public on a public session on any matter. At this time, if you would like to come up to the podium and speak, we just ask that you state your name, sign in, and you'll be given 3 minutes.
Hello, my name is Michael Kesslinger. I am starting my 10th year at NBTHS. Tonight I am speaking as a representative of the MBTA negotiations team. Shortly, you are going to hear messages from parents, staff, students, or other members in the community that all feel passionately about the education here in North Brunswick. They are going to stand up here, plead before you that a compromise gets made, and soon. They will tell you what drew them to this district, what keeps them here, or why others should come. They will say the thing that makes North Brunswick special are the people inside the buildings making a difference here. We have an opportunity here on August 13th to leave our mediation with a fair contract. That is all the members of our association want. That's why they're here tonight. Why they were here last time, and why they were at the meeting before that. That's why we wear red today, and last Wednesday, and the Wednesday before that, and before that. They will continue to do so as long as it takes. Please work with us, compromise with us, help us. Give us the peace of mind that we need so that come September, we could put the students first in our mind like it should always be. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm going to translate the message of the association. Is it on?
Should be. Do you see green?
I don't. Hello.
Oh, it doesn't, you pick it up, yeah.
Hi, I'm going to translate the message of the association.
Can you just state your name, please?
Joel Duffy.
Thank you.
Hola, mi nombre es, acaba de hablar Michael Ketzinger. Estoy comenzando mi 10º año en la escuela secundaria de North Brunswick. Esta noche hablaré como representante del equipo de negociaciones de la asociación. En breve escucharán mensajes de padres, personal, estudiantes y otros miembros de la comunidad que sienten pasión por la educación aquí en North Brunswick. Se pondrán de pie aquí y pedirán ante ustedes que se llegue a un acuerdo y pronto. Les dirán que los atrajo a este distrito, que los mantiene aquí y por qué otros deberían venir. Dirán que lo que hace que North Brunswick sea especial son las personas dentro de los edificios que marcan una diferencia para ellos. Tenemos una oportunidad aquí el 13 de agosto de salir de nuestra mediación con un contrato justo. Eso es todo lo que quieren los miembros de nuestra asociación. Es por eso que están aquí esta noche, por eso estuvieron aquí en la última reunión y por eso estuvieron en la reunión anterior a esa. Es por eso que visten de rojo esta noche y el miércoles pasado y el miércoles anterior a esa y antes de ese. Seguirán haciéndolo todo el tiempo que sea necesario. Trabajen con nosotros, comprométanse con nosotros, ayúdenos, dennos la tranquilidad que necesitamos para que cuando llegue septiembre podamos poner a los estudiantes en primer lugar, como debe ser siempre. Gracias.
Good evening. My name is Corey Daniel. For all of you who don't know me, I know many faces on the board. Today I'm here to speak not only as a NBTEA member, but also a past parent and a past resident. I moved to North Brunswick 20 years ago because we wanted to move into a town for our children to have a diverse and awesome community. We chose North Brunswick. Both of my children went to Judd, to Linwood, to the high school. Unfortunately, I moved out of the town due to some circumstances 3 years ago. And unfortunately, I was not able to vote because I think some of the faces would be different on the board. I talk to you not only as a staff member, but I started from the bottom. I was a substitute teacher. I had a separation. I needed a full-time job. Barbara Gibbons, thank God, I praise her. She hired me as a building aide. As a building aide, I got started in, I think this is my 15th year here in district. I started at $9.27. Poverty. Poverty level. Still poverty level. I stayed with the district. Years go on, 10 years. 2 of my kids who went through the school have awesome teachers, and I will never put anyone down because we have amazing staff. They were both going to college at that time. I needed a job to help my ex-husband at the time pay for school. I left the district. I had to leave the district. Dr. Z called me and said, Corey, what can we do to keep you here? I said, pay me more. I left the district making $12.76 an hour. Fortunately enough, I was rehired 5 months later as a secretary for the Special Services Department. So I would like to speak on our aides. I was an aide. I was a one-on-one aide in Judd. We get the living, we know. They pummel us sometimes. Some of these aides that are standing here, I've watched them in holds for hours, sweating, tears, but they come back every day because they love their job. But we don't love the pay. I was fortunate enough to come back as a secretary. Do I get paid enough for all the things I do? Absolutely not. But the aides and these teachers deserve so much more than what we're all getting. I bust my neck for this town. If I could live here, I would still live here. Unfortunately, I can't. I work sporting events to supplement my salary. I coached for 4 years to supplement my salary. I'm not coaching next year. I have to find a second job. Please do something better. They deserve it. All of you know on this board what we all deserve. Thank you.
If I could just, and I'm sorry to make you actually don't have to write down your name and address and the whole thing. Just I feel bad for those of you who've already spoken. I apologize. Usually when we have fewer people, but since there's so many of you who want to speak, you could just keep rolling. If you could just say your name and address for the record, and we'll have our minutes pick up on your participation. We appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Avni Morales, and I've been living in North Brunswick since 2010. I have two children, one of which will be starting 3rd grade at Judd School in September. I'm also a 4th grade teacher in Bridgewater and will be starting my 20th year as an educator there. I want to start by saying that one of our core goals as educators is to showcase the importance of being active and informed citizens, to teach our youth that when they have concerns, they should voice them. If they disagree with actions that are occurring, whether it's in their community, in their state, in our country, in the world, they have to speak up when they don't agree. And it was disheartening, to say the least, that I did speak up and I wrote a letter to each of you, and to get no response at all was very disheartening. So to not even get a generic, like, thanks for your concern, we're working together with the association to come up with an agreement, I was shocked. And I got the same response from the council members. I've reached out to all of them, 0 response. So as a teacher and a parent living here, to show and be a role model to our students that this is what you do, to not get anything, I'm upset by that. In that letter, I voiced my concerns with the impasse in contract negotiations. I chose to live in North Brunswick, similar to the woman who spoke before me, because of diversity, number 1, and number 2, because of the school system. My daughter attended Judd now for 4 years, from pre-K through 2nd grade, and has absolutely loved her experience. She started in the midst of COVID, yet her teachers were all in. They engaged their students in ways that one could only have hoped for. It was such a scary time as parents, but knowing that my daughter was in excellent hands eased my nerves. And with each passing year at Judd, her experience has only gotten better and better. I do not have a negative thing to say about the teachers that she has had. I know that being a teacher, I know the amount of work ethic, determination, and passion that goes into this profession, especially post-COVID. Our jobs have changed entirely. These teachers put in so much work on their own time, and it's always just expected, but never rewarded. It is a detriment to our district to not pay our teachers a competitive salary. I went through this in my district in 2015. I actually spent the 2014-15 year documenting the work that I did outside of contractual hours. My goal was simply to have irrefutable, objective numbers so that the public would know that when teachers, quote unquote, complain, like, I work so much outside my hours, I work so much, everyone's like, oh yeah, you got the summers off though, it just, it makes up for it. So I just wanted objective numbers to illustrate how much actual time teachers spend doing unpaid work. So for a full year, I documented my hours. I showed my Board of Ed my 21-page document that listed all of my hours and detailed exactly what I was working on. I documented 505 hours. That is the equivalent of 72 school days.
You just wrap up your comments, please. Thank you.
That's 72 days of unpaid work. And to be clear, that was my 10th year teaching, so I was not a novice. I have no doubt that the people behind me are putting in the same kind of work as well. There's absolutely no need to be at an impasse with people who are at the front lines of what makes this district amazing. Please pay them well and ensure that they feel
Thank you.
valued so that that in turn, that energy, love, and respect is what will trickle down to their
Thank you.
students.
Amen. Good evening. Can you hear me?
If you could pick it up. Yeah,
I will pick it up.
thank you. Just so the public can hear on
Okay.
YouTube.
My name is Dawn Bauer. Very nervous. My heart is beating very fast. I'm going to do this anyway. I just completed my 21st year teaching here in North Brunswick at Parsons Elementary School. 25 years overall in the state of New Jersey. I have taught hundreds of children in this town, hundreds of them. My own children know that when I say my kids, I'm not always talking about them. I'm talking about my students. This town has become my second family. I've watched my kids grow up, graduate, pursue careers or college, and come back as parents to my current students, which is really weird, but also really, really awesome. I've celebrated their successes and hugged them through difficult times. I've been thrilled to run into them out there in the real world and hear how I made a difference to them in their lives. I love my kids and I love this school district, but it's not enough anymore. And I didn't want to cry, but here we go. I can't provide for my actual family the way that I should as a professional with 25 years of teaching experience, 21 of them here in this town with your kids. When I started teaching here 21 years ago, I did so looking ahead, and at the time our salary guide was very different. We had the ability to attain a fair wage commensurate with the cost of living. It's not possible anymore. People who retired 10 years ago are earning more than we are now. Had I taken a position in the town where I live, 12 miles away in the same county, I would be earning almost $20,000 more. Apples to apples, same amount of time with salary and longevity pay. Almost $20,000, that's life-changing money, especially now in New Jersey, trying to support a family. It's money that I and that all of us deserve. We deserve to not live paycheck to paycheck. We deserve to have a little something extra in savings just in case. We deserve to be able to provide for our own actual children. We deserve a fair and competitive salary because each and every one of us is worth it. Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Janice Mahalik. I've been a resident here in town for over 25 years, and I'm also a teacher in our middle school. For those who are not aware, there is a large number of teachers and staff who choose to live here where we work. My own kids went through our schools from Judd to NBTHS, and they had some amazing teachers along the way, some of whom are here with us tonight. My son had the experience of being in the COVID graduating class of 2020. He was one of the students who spent nearly half of his senior year in his room on his Chromebook, but his teachers, we teachers, did everything we could to bridge the gap and stay connected to our students. We did all the things the district asked for, even when we didn't know how to do them at first. We posted asynchronous lessons on Google Classroom. Then we figured out how to set up Google Meets and teach remotely from our homes to their homes. Then we taught with something called Seats and Meets, where half of our students simultaneously, half were in the classroom in person and the other half were on Google Meet. We did that as well. But as always, we got things done as best we could, except that now teachers are saying, I can't anymore. Over the past 3 years, from July 2021 to today, or yesterday when I looked at the numbers, to July 2024, we have said goodbye to 283 of our colleagues and coworkers. And these are numbers I took from board agendas. And to be fair, some were retirements, but even if we subtract those out, we end up with over 220 teachers and staff resigning in the past 3 years alone. These are people that our district have put training dollars into, professional development hours into, and you've likely even paid for a few master's degrees, which have since just walked out the door. Fellow staff have put in time and effort to be mentors and buddy teachers, only to see those new staff members take that knowledge and move on. To use a real estate term, our district has become a starter home. Teachers move in for a few years, then they quickly outgrow it. They move on to something bigger and better with a higher salary. And we can't keep losing good people. As a taxpayer, I know that the board also wants to be fiscally responsible in our town. And just looking across the street to the debacle that is the municipal building shows that dollars are being spent here. But please do not put that fiasco on the backs of teachers and staff. One last bit of food for thought. I teach 400 students per year. I get 200 in the first semester, then at the end of the semester they move on, and I get 200 new ones. My yearly budget is $125. And I'm not a math teacher, but I've done the math. That comes out to just over 31 cents per student, and you can't even buy half a postage stamp for 31 cents. Please work to settle our contracts so that teachers and staff feel supported, get paid in line with surrounding districts, and stick around for the benefit of our students.
Thank you.
Arwen Kaplusta. For the past 20 years, I've called John Adams Elementary School my home away from home. I even had the pleasure of teaching Haley when she was in 5th grade. That was my first year at John Adams, and over the years, I've enjoyed learning with and from my students while working to create an amazing choral program. From 60 4th and 5th grade students my first year when Haley was there, to over 120 volunteer 3rd and 4th grade students in my 20th year, which is almost the entire 3rd and 4th grade class at JA. As professionals in the field of education, we want the best for our students. We will go to great lengths to ensure their success, not just within the walls of the classroom, but beyond as well. And over my 20-year career in North Brunswick, I have happily gone to football, basketball, and lacrosse games, piano recitals, school dances, family fun nights, and more outside of my own contractual hours to show support for my current and even my former students. I've brought in coats and school supplies for students in need. I bought popcorn from the cheerleaders to support their competition dreams. I've supported the North Brunswick Food Bank, and I have bought more shirts off of the North Brunswick sideline store than any other teacher I can think of, because I am true North! And despite living in another community, I'm North Brunswick. Kristen Ross and I even used our own personal day to go to court in Newark to speak on behalf of a student and her family who were potentially being deported. I have multiple degrees, and I am currently applying to doctoral programs. I also have multiple certifications and licenses, and I know I'm not alone! These teachers and support staff of this district give their heart and their soul and their personal time and money to the district, or to the students and families of this district. They have multiple degrees and certifications and credentials, and it's absolutely nothing but gut-wrenching to see when given the chance to return the favor with fair compensation, our own students don't even recognize our vast contributions and sacrifices and show us the love and support and commitment that we once showed to them. I want to thank Jen and Beth and Tom and this entire negotiations team for fighting this battle for us, because I know firsthand how hard that is. And to the board, I don't know specifically what this team is asking for, but double it and sign off. Because the teachers and the support staff of this district have put in the time and their own money and the extra hours and incredible effort, and most importantly, they put in love and support to these students and this community far beyond what is required. And it's time you return the favor, because we've earned it and we deserve it.
co-chair for the North Brunswick Township Education Association Pride and FAST events. Last year alone, we dedicated over $61,000 for events to support our students and their families. We partnered with community organizations such as the Community Food Bank to provide food, North Brunswick PBA and Catholic Charities for holiday toy drives, and Catholic Charities in Middlesex County Get Out and Move campaign. Within the schools, our staff here have gone after hours to provide countless reading, math, science, STEM, ESL, autism awareness, and wellness events. We have paired with the PTOs on activities such as Theater Week, Bingo, and Trunk or Treat. We have sponsored ads for the yearbook, sports organizations, and the Alchemist Theater. The graduation banners that you see around town are part of the Pride and FAST monies. We even hosted a meet and greet for the Board of Education candidates.
Good evening. I should be wearing a red shirt. I support every one of you as a parent of North Brunswick. So I come on a different note. Good evening, everyone. On July 9th, my daughter emailed Transportation Supervisor and Rosa Hawks, the BA, with concerns about how they changed the bus this year and put all different grade levels on the bus. My daughter expressed about the safety of my granddaughter. She was nervous because my granddaughter is only 4 and she's autistic. They told her and reassured her that my granddaughter would be safe and everything would be okay. Well, this morning, as a grandmother, I put my granddaughter on the bus. A boy, probably taller than me, attacked my granddaughter. I was shaking. I didn't know how to react. I called my daughter, who was at work, to meet me at the board, who's pregnant, high risk, and I didn't want her to get upset. But I came here and I asked to speak to Janet and Rosa. They both came out and they told me, they expressed to me how there's a chain of command. Well, when it comes to my grandchild, I don't care about a chain of command because my daughter followed the chain of command. She emailed them and she told them, and they promised that my granddaughter would be safe. Sorry, I have to go into my thing. So as we sat here, probably the 4th row back there, when they both said, well, we have to investigate. And they kept shaking their heads at each other like 2 puppets. And I made it known, it was like 2 puppets. And after that, she did tell me that they have to look at the children's IEPs that's on the bus to make sure that they can ride together. Well, shouldn't that have been done in June? You put these children at risk. You have an aide who is underpaid. I think they get $16, which McDonald's probably makes more than that. So these underpaid aides, this poor lady did not know what to do. Only thing she kept saying was, I am so sorry, I am so sorry. I'm shaking. And I had to grab my granddaughter who was screaming. So it wasn't like she was just tapped. My granddaughter was screaming on the bus. Put yourself in my shoes and my daughter's shoes. If that was your grandchild, how would you feel? I leave this with, I'm a taxpayer, a very high paid taxpayer in North Brunswick. You guys should be paid a lot more because my granddaughter is blessed with the teachers that she has. I praise them every day. Thank you and have a great night.
So if I could just respond, I'm not going to respond directly to the individual who just spoke, because I understand that she's informed school administration that she's hired an attorney, and obviously I want to respect that. But I do want to inform the board here as we're talking, and I don't think this is something we have to go into executive for. I could just talk to you that each student that comes, each issue that comes to our attention, obviously we're very careful about addressing. This matter just came to our attention today. Obviously, you heard that there's a concerned member of the public who also happens to be engaged in this particular matter. We're going to review this, consider it like we do every matter, as seriously as this district, including your teachers, take every matter, and we're going to do that to the best of our ability. So I just want to make sure that you're aware of that, and that's where we are on that issue. Thank you. Next speaker, please. You could pick up the microphone if you want. I think it's been helping the speakers to do that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Anvit Badam. I've been a North Brunswick resident for almost 10 years now. I love this town. I love the fact that you guys allow kids in this town to either go to great public schools or attend charter schools outside the school district. My daughter is one of those, and I feel like that choice is now being taken away from us. We just received notice saying that the busing to the Thomas Edison Elementary Charter School in Somerset is in jeopardy because it mandated maximum threshold for busing. And we're not sure whom we need to talk to regarding this. When we speak with the transportation department, we're being redirected to the school, and the school is then redirecting us back to North Brunswick Township. So I'd like somebody to step up and take some accountability and responsibility for this issue, because I can't state how disruptive this is going to be. It's going to be a death sentence. There's no way I'm going to send my kid to a charter school if I have to pick and drop her every single day. It's just impossible. And I speak for a bunch of parents here who could not make it, but I just needless to say, I'm sure you guys are all aware, without busing, it's just impossible to send your kid to school. So I'd like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to raise my concerns, and I hope you can resolve this. Thank you.
Sir, let me just address that for a moment, sir. I just want to let you know that your school leader actually reached out to me today in response to our letter, and he and I are in conversations with the attorneys about looking at some shared service agreement. Right now, North Brunswick pays a great deal of money, and has been for several years when we didn't necessarily have to pay courtesy busing for your students. So this is why we only have to pay up to the maximum allowed amount, because your child isn't in school in a charter school in North Brunswick. Because they're out of district, we only have to pay the aid in lieu amount. But we are in talks with your school leader right now, so I'm sure you'll be hearing more about that in the next few weeks.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Hi. I'm going to take a turn here. I'm not just a resident of Silbury. I'm not just a parent. Hi. I'm the PTO president of John Adams Elementary School, and I don't know how many of you... I only have 2 minutes.
Could we ask if you could state your name, please?
Isaac Hauer.
Thank you.
I have stopped my first rendezvous. Here I advocate for everybody that needs advocation. Here I am again talking to you guys. I am friends personally with a lot of you. I don't know how many of you have elementary children, but we are an elementary school. The parents of those kids that came through COVID. I'm a parent that went to virtual learning first before I went to an in-school setting. My kindergarten ceremony was online. My kids finally have normalcy. The PTO has worked hard to bring back McTeachers Night, which the teachers voluntarily come back from wherever they live, leaving their families to come join these events. Now, these memorable moments are on halt, and not because of the pandemic, but because we can't get a contract. The teachers have said enough about how much they've done through the pandemic, how much they've done through the volunteer services, how much they pay for everything. Last year we were given the green light to start our McTeachers Night. This year we can't schedule it. I was told by the school that we cannot schedule because the teachers don't have a contract. So, Mr. Bush, here I am. You said in your last meeting that it wasn't about respect, it was about being fair. Unfortunately, you're not being fair. The board is not being fair. And you're not being fair because, I quote, you said everybody's trying to get the word that is being used, competitive, fair, everybody wants to see all the members of the association paid fairly, but it's a give and take time. Mr. Bush, this give and take time is dimming our children's memories. School starts next month, September. I cannot schedule any back-to-school events that require my teachers to voluntarily come back to cherish and make memories with the kids because they don't have a contract.
So it goes back to dimming the light is what your give and take is. We need this to move quickly. And if we wait for a state mediator, it just pushes the process, and now we're looking at another month of no events. Our kids are the same kids that didn't take any school trips. They didn't take school trips because of bus shortages. It was these teachers that went on their own time to find a local place that fits in the schedule of buses so that these kids could go to a local farm. It wasn't you guys that sat there, it was them. So if anybody made normalcy for our children during the pandemic, during the bus shortages, it was these teachers. If anyone's coming to our school events, it's these teachers. And if these teachers are asking for wages that match our neighboring towns, they're not asking for much. But I am asking, as a PTO president, as a parent, to make my children's lives memorable. They've already been through so much with the pandemic, the bus shortages, and now to tell my 7-year-old, no honey, there's no make teachers night, there's no glow party, there's no bingo ice cream party because we can't have a contract is too much for him to understand. So I request that you negotiate quickly, give and take time goes fast, and let's schedule these events and get these teachers a contract they deserve. Thank you.
I'm actually, sir, if you just 1 second, I promise to give you your full 3 minutes. And we are definitely not negotiating in public, and I'll speak more specifically as to some of the other comments that were made. But I do want to address Ms. Kaur, who we certainly all appreciate. I know that you have a personal relation. Where are you? I want to look at. Okay, sorry. I want to give you your due respect. And I appreciate, you quoting me from the last meeting. But I want to be very clear, because I'm the lawyer. So it's my job to represent my client. But this is not intended as a confrontational conversation. I just want, as a matter of law, and it's not going to be a back and forth. I just want to respond to what you're saying. Okay, I'm sorry. This microphone situation tonight's a little tough, but the teachers or the association can work during that period. There is a contract. It's just that it expired on June 30th, and the way it works in school law is the contract from before, the current contract rolls over, and you continue to work under the prior terms. It does. I mean, as a matter of school law, you continue to work on the prior terms, and then when we hopefully resolve this, which we hope is as quickly as possible, it does. And what happens is in some districts, so in other words, if there are class trips for your child, if there are other things for your child, if there are back to school nights, whatever you are concerned about, the teachers can, frankly, and it's our position we would hope they would, work those events. We are just, but we also, listen, look, we also respect, it's not for free. You're all working under the prior contract, and as soon as a new contract is in place, you would get your retro amount, and that's how it works. I mean, listen, you get your retro amount if there is a retro amount to be applied. That's the law, and that's my job to state it. And if we could have the next comment, I'd appreciate it. Okay. If you could just give your name and address for the record, I'd appreciate it. Ms. Korzinski, you could speak next if you like.
25 years here, and I will be speaking August
Good.
15th. I apologize for taking your 3 minutes.
Go ahead, sir.
You could start, we're going to start your time now. This wasn't a part of your 3 minutes.
It's fine, thank you. My name is Cooper Ford. I was here last month. I know many of you, worked with a lot of your kids. I've been here for many years as a resident, 20 years, as well as a teacher in high school. Before I begin, I want to recognize each and every one of you serving here as an elected board member. We are talking about contracts and salaries, yes, but you're all here giving your time and energy without being paid. And I think it's important to acknowledge that and recognize that. So whatever your reasons are for being here, from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you because you are taking the time to be here. And that means a lot to my family, it means a lot to my kids, it means a lot to this community. So even whatever disagreement there might be, whatever feelings there might be, I think that's important to acknowledge that. So I want to start with that. I want to speak as a resident first and as a taxpayer. Like many of us, many of you on the board, many of us in this room, I received my property tax bill earlier this month, and as expected, it had gone up over the past 3 years, almost 7.5%, a significant portion, it did, that went to our school district. And as a resident, we do know that taxes will go up, yes. And when they do, we want something to show for it. We want to know that our teachers and staff are taking care of the people who we've entrusted with our children, and to make sure that they are taken care of. Something that, as I talk to my neighbors, we all agree, even though things might be difficult at times, said, you know what, the people who take care of our kids, we want to take care of them. At the last board meeting, Mr. Bush, speaking on behalf of all of you, expressed your support, appreciation, and respect for the teachers and staff of North Brunswick. He spoke of how we agree on a lot, and we want to get to an agreement that is fair and competitive, and we want to get there. We want to make it happen. As a resident, as a teacher in our schools, I welcome these words. One of my mentors taught me, she said, don't just tell them, show them. So with the mediation coming up in 2 weeks, I hope you'll show your support, appreciation, and respect to the teachers and staff who you've entrusted with our children. And I hope that respect, support, and appreciation is mutual from those who represent the NBTEA as well, which I'm confident on both sides that it will be. I hope that there will be an agreement that we can all agree is fair, competitive, that we can say together, yes, it did take a little longer, but we got there, so that we can begin our school year solely focused on what we're here to do, and that's to provide a life-changing education to the children of our community. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Pranesh. Again, just like the gentleman spoke a while ago, I'm a parent of going to the Thomas Edison Energy Smart School. I totally appreciate the fact that you're already in touch with the school and discussions to solve the problem with the transportation. But I wanted to highlight a few challenges that we as parents will have because of this. This school is about 20 miles to and fro from North Brunswick on an average. So this on a normal day takes 75 minutes, 60 to 75 minutes to drop the kid and then come back. Or it's even worse in the afternoon because the school ends at 2:50 p.m., which is right in the middle of the work day. So it's literally impossible for the parents to spend 75 minutes on an average on a work day to go and get the kids. Now, if we consider carpooling, that's an option, but I don't think that gives the safety or the comfort for the parents as compared to what a school bus would provide. We are never safe and comfortable until the kid is back home. Of course, we carpool with people we know, but it's always a risk. You cannot deny that. Now, if we risk our jobs and we decide for the safety and future of our kids, we decide to go to the school and pick up and drop the kid on a daily basis. Now, what a 75 minutes could easily become what we think 90 minutes or 2 hours, because the school infrastructure or the roads surrounding, the community surrounding the school, we don't believe has the infrastructure to support a sudden influx in traffic of that scale. There's not sufficient parking, we believe, in the school for all the parents to go in and get the kids. What is taking 75 minutes could easily take 2 hours to 2.5 hours now, which could also affect the local community there. So it's affecting everybody. So just wanted to highlight these plans and totally appreciate that you're already looking into it. Thank you.
My name's Bob Dolman. I've been at the high school, starting my 20th year. My name is Bob Dolman. I'm at the high school, I'm starting my 20th year there. Go Raiders. One of the reasons I came here is because I watched the video from the last meeting, and I noticed a lot of people were saying how the other districts are getting paid $10,000 a year more than us, and I just wanted to make a correction on that. As of now, I only know 2 districts that pay $10,000 more than us. One of them was our district like 14 years ago. A teacher who retired told me he was getting $10,000 more than me as a 28th year teacher. The other districts are really getting around $20,000 more than us. A lot of teachers are leaving. We got some really good teachers, and they're leaving the district. Now, how's that hurt the town? The students, they're not getting into the colleges they want to get into. They're not being prepared properly because there's no teachers. They're leaving the classroom in the middle of the year, they get a substitute for the rest of the year, okay? I take a lot of pride in what I do. I don't want to be the second best school in the state. I want to be the best, and I hope you guys feel the same way. Also, another thing that hurts the town is I know when people move into towns, they look at the school district. And they're going to move to a town that has a good school district. If the district's not as good, your property values go down. If you're a homeowner, you're losing money because you don't want to pay the good teachers, okay? We got some really good teachers. Let's not mess it up, okay? We work hard, okay? If you value your students' education and you value your property values and stuff like that, but you know, the money you're paying us is actually going to come back and pay you. You want to say it? All right. That she was going to ask something. And that's basically it. We're just looking to get paid fairly. We're not asking to get paid crazy money. We just want to get paid the same as other teachers do the same job as us. That's it.
Everybody, my name is Sarah Moore. I am a 7th grade science teacher at NBTMS. I just finished my 3rd year teaching. Okay, so this was my first job out of college. I graduated during COVID and student taught to a room full of black screens and did the whole thing. And when I was applying for jobs, North Brunswick was my #1 choice. It was the one that I wanted. I applied for 20 different jobs, and North Brunswick was the one that I held out for. And when I was interviewing with the principal of NBTMS, I said to him, and have lived up to this, that I wasn't just looking for a teaching job, I was looking for a community that I could invest in, and invest in the children of that community the way that my teachers invested in me when I was a child. So I did my best to do those things. I have loved being here. I've loved being a teacher here. From the minute that I started, I immediately got involved by going to my students' sporting events and their shows. I've been to every concert, every drama club performance, every art show, everything that I could be at for my students, I was there. At least one of every sport every season so that I could see all of my students in their element. I'm a face that parents know in the classroom and out. They see me around. My students who I don't even teach anymore will still email me when they're having a tough day or they're having a tough week. They just need some encouragement. They'll email me, tell me stuff is hard, and I'll email them back and give them the encouragement that they need. My 2nd year as a teacher here, I co-directed the school's first full-length musical. I also co-ran 8th grade activities, which involved doing a fundraiser, Brunswick Boutique, the 8th grade semi-formal, and the 8th grade class trip. And then this past year, I helped with a coworker of mine found and get running our school's first ever GSA. When I took this job, I had every intention of staying for my entire career. It's where I wanted to be. It's where I wanted to retire from. But the pay just isn't it. And most of the teachers and staff in this room have a lot more time in than I do. I'm only 3 years in. So if they're complaining about pay, I can't speak to that, but I can say that I have to leave because I found better pay at the bottom of the scale in another district that significantly beats ours. And I'm devastated by having to leave. Ooh, I was not going to cry. I'm devastated by having to leave. I did not want to leave. But it is a choice that I had to make in order to provide for myself and my family. So I would encourage you to consider that you all are making the choice of losing dedicated, involved teachers. So, consider your choices.
Thank you. 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 Thank My name is Rona Hales. I am a wife, 30-something years now, that's awesome. I am a mother of two beautiful daughters who went through the North Brunswick school system. I love their teachers, they always took good care of my kids. They both graduated, they both went to college, they both have wonderful jobs now, so I'm very, very thankful. I came to North Brunswick and I came as a substitute teacher. I've done long-term assignments, and then I became a para. I love kids, I really do love kids. And Patty Van Leyen had reached out to me one time. It's like, oh, do you want to interview? So I came and I interviewed, and I didn't think I was going to really like being in the population that I'm in, but I do. I really do enjoy it. I job coach the kids that I work with to try to get them acclimated to the real world. I do hygiene, and some of you, I'm not trying to be graphic, but girls have their periods monthly. A lot of these girls don't know how to take care of themselves down yonder. I have to help them. That's not something that anybody really wants to do, but I need to do that for them to try to teach them. I don't get paid enough. It's because I love these kids that I do this. I advocate for these kids. When we go on CBI, that means we go to ShopRite, we teach them about the real world, and people outside who demean these kids because they happen to be in the aisle. I have to stand there and defend these children. I don't get paid for that. I do it because they don't deserve that. Nobody deserves that. I go to training, and there's the NCI CBI training. I'm going to go next month, because it teaches us how to control a child when they attack us. I got punched double-fisted in the chest this year. I had to take this boy down. Did I want to do that? No, but I do want to go home to my kids. I want to be happy and safe and all that kind of stuff. I don't get paid for that. But you guys won't pay us for that. And I don't understand why. Because your salaries are nice, and I'm not sorry that you guys don't get good salaries, but I just need you guys to think about other people. Not just what you get. Think about what we get. It'll just be nice. And I do also do crowd control. I love crowd control. I love sports to help try to supplement my salary. But it just would be nice if you guys would just increase what we make. And think about us for a change. Thank you.
Hello. So myself Chinal Shah. I am also a parent of like my kids are also going to Thomas Edison Charter School. I just don't want to discuss again the same thing, and don't want to just whatever my colleagues also said before. I don't want to repeat everything again. I just want something open end from your side, because you guys, we have sent multiple emails and everything. I hope you guys are going through it and understand our problems too. And as a North Brunswick resident, my kids are not going here in this public school. It doesn't mean, because we also paying the tax, right? So it doesn't mean we cannot expect bus facility from your side. So please consider that request from our on behalf of other parents. And I understand you just said before also attorneys and everything is talking to each other. Then I just want to know when we will get the result, and when we can expect what is the outcome from that matter.
Hopefully in the next 2 weeks, we're working with, again, your school leader to look at that, and our attorneys. But I do want to just so you understand the state of New Jersey's law for a student who does not reside in the residence, the town where the charter school is. It gives very clear guidelines on what the district needs to pay. For the last several years, we've been paying more than that amount. That's been courtesy busing, and that amount of money comes out of our local budget, which is where the difficulty becomes. When we want to take that money and use it in our local budget, we need to go by what the law says, and that's where we're working with your school leader. So we will try to get a resolution for you guys as soon as possible, but within the law.
Thank you. We will wait for that, and definitely we will think you guys also will help us for that, because you guys also know here the road, even though the schools are not open, Route 130, this Adams Land, Cousin Land, everything is packed with the traffic and so many, and day by day traffic is increasing. It's not matter of like we don't want to pay anything from our pocket. Whatever the aid also you guys are giving back to us, keep those aid with you guys, or do something, some adjustment, or maybe you can ask like low kind of budget or low kind of money from us. We will think of, you guys can also at least open those way for us, so we can pay at least little, like very economically, so everybody can take those burden from everyone, from your budget, from us and everything. So we expect you guys just keep it the open end, don't make the dead end from your side. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and just a reminder, I mean, obviously, I know it's not a popular opinion among the parents here who send their kids to a charter school, but the reality is exactly what Ms. Soroka is saying, and that is that every student, not just on the transportation side, but every student from the North Brunswick School District who attends a charter school, their tuition is forced by law to be paid by this school district, which again, takes from our general budget. So I appreciate the parents coming in here, but this is a interesting discussion tonight because we've got a lot of budget pushes and pulls here.
Hello, my name is Susan Waldron. I'm a special education para at Livingston Park as of now. As you know, paras can be moved from building to building, classroom to classroom, and we don't know our assignment until we start. To start in North Brunswick, you must be having 60 college credits or pass the para pro. That is the job requirement to become a para in this district. We spend hundreds of thousands of dollars sending students to the Education Services Commission of New Jersey. The requirement to be a paraprofessional in that district is 18 and a high school diploma. Yet, their starting salary is more than our top of the guide. Their top of the guide at the end of their current contract will be over $30,000. The top of our guide is not even, when you add in your maybe stipends, $20,000. That is unacceptable when we are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars in out-of-placement district. I understand why children go out of district. That's not the point. The point is the requirement for them versus the requirement for us. I know the training that they get. I know the training that we get. I know the services that we provide for our students are par none. We have the best paras that we have. We can control our students. We can educate our students. We do the job that is required for our students because that is what is expected of us. We change diapers. We handle menstrual cycles. We get physically beaten by our students, and we come in for less than what you are spending to send our students out of district. There are districts that paras are making over $40,000 a year. I know this because I just spent 5 days at the NJEA Leadership Conference speaking to members in other districts to find out how much people are making. I don't come up here speaking lightly or uneducated because I am very educated on this matter. It is time to reevaluate what you are paying us and what you look at what other districts are expecting. We deserve more. We don't just make photocopies. Paras are educating. This school year, I spent the last 2.5 months along with the other para in my room as the teacher in our classroom because our teacher left in April. She resigned to go make more money in another district. We were the teacher because no long-term teacher could be covered for that classroom. There was no long-term sub. There was no mid-year replacement for her. We were the teacher because that's what paras do. We step up and we work. We deserve a fair
and livable wage. I am a single woman, and I cannot live on $20,000 a year.
That it? Okay. No, I think we certainly appreciate. There's a couple things. First of all, I want to thank everybody for allowing us the 3-minute piece. I know that's not easy. You have a lot to say, and I know the board wants to hear it. But with so many people wanting to speak, it's important that we hear as many of you as possible. So we try to, keep that consistent. And we heard how some of you were wrapping up your comments as that alarm was going off, and we didn't want to cut you right off, but we really appreciate that. This is the first thing. The second thing is, and I said this earlier, and I referenced this, that, look, the board isn't going to negotiate in public, okay? I think your feedback is helpful to hearing how a lot of you feel, and so we're not going to negotiate in public, but I think that, I'll also say, somebody mentioned at the microphone that they were disappointed that the board hadn't responded to an email. I'll just say that responding to an email, and maybe your suggestion was that they should have said thank you for the email or whatever, but the reality is that the board wants to make sure they comply, and they don't want to be, negotiating in public, so they don't want to, provide information that might be deemed confidential. So that's one thing. But, I think that it was said early on, one of the first speakers who sort of summarized everything that was going to come next, and I'm sorry, I forgot your name. Is Mr. Kesslinger, you said? As Mr. Kesslinger said, is that, all you want is a fair contract. And I know that there's cynicism here. We heard it. I hear the voices. But all we want is a fair contract, too. And, I think it's important that, that I reiterate what I said last time, and not exactly the same thing, that this is a process designed to get to a resolution. The impasse part of this is part of that design. It's built into the law so that if there isn't an agreement by now, there can be an agreement with more force, not just applied by the parties themselves who've gotten stuck. That's what an impasse is, right? Not just in this negotiation, in any negotiation, and that somebody else come in like a mediator to help resolve the differences. And we welcome that process, and we're hoping, believe me, we don't, as much as you don't like this, we don't like this either. Having a situation where the teachers, where the teachers of this district are upset. This is a summer night. I can imagine there's many places that you'd all rather be than arguing before the Board of Education we totally understand that, okay? But we'd also like to be able to have a summer meeting, which is typically shorter than the meetings for the rest of the year. Nobody wants to be in this position. I can assure you of that from our side. We don't want to be here either. There was, a couple bits of misinformation. I understand that emotions are high. We totally get it. But it's important for us to note that no one, and this is important for the parents, I think the teachers do truly understand this, no one's working for free. Yes, you're working without a contract post June 30th. We understand that. We're trying to resolve that as quickly as we can, as I reiterated, but no one here is working for free. It was also mentioned about the municipal budget and what's going on across the street. That has nothing to do with us. I know that when you pay your property tax, that some money goes to the school district, some money goes to the municipality, some money goes to the library, some money goes to the county. But at the end of the day, these are totally separate budgets, and one bit of money has nothing to do with the other, so I want to make sure that was really clear. And also, look, a lot has been thrown around about how this district compares to other districts throughout the county. There's all kinds of angles. When you're a lawyer, you can argue anything from any position, but objectively, we are in the middle of the pack for the county. I think that's important to say. When a contract is resolved, or it has been in this district, and many districts it works this way, year after year, once you have a percentage agreed upon and the number and the pot of money is decided and the BA talks about it with the leadership from the association, typically speaking, it's the association that puts together the salary guides. So in other words, we agree on a percentage, and then you all help us get to the point where you figure out what everybody, how many years, all that stuff goes into. And listen, all of this is a negotiation, but we generally trust the association to help us get to that point. So I want to make sure that's clear. I assure you that we are working towards this. We are hoping that there's not too many more meetings, if any, where we're all here and there's this pent-up frustration between, by the way, the most valuable people in this district. I think everybody understands that, other than our kids, are the teachers, are the staff, are the paraprofessionals, are everybody in your association. So the board appreciates that you're here. The board values you. You may not feel like it at times because we've been quiet and they've been asking me to speak, all right, as the attorney, but we do hear what you're saying. Everyone up here hears what you're saying. We understand it. We know it's frustrating for you to have to be here. Again, we didn't like this as much as you did, but thank you. We know we all need to hear each other. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. At this time, we'll close the public portion of the meeting. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? This session is closed.
And at this time, I'd like to adjourn the meeting. Could someone adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We're adjourned.
Thank you.